People, it's your boy, Brother Winston, for another video. So we back on the Dr. Umar stuff, okay? In this video, all right, watch it to the end, because in this video, we're going to talk about why Dr. Umar, as it says in the thumbnail on YouTube or wherever you're watching this, we're going to explain why Dr. Umar, why his accounts are actually frozen, okay? And on this channel here, which I'm about to show you guys, is the MVMO channel on YouTube. Type in MVMO channel, you can see this full video. We're also going to bring up the different people that support Umar. I'm not talking about just his fans. I'm talking about the platform, like the Breakfast Club, okay, Charlemagne and God, people like that bring Umar on continuously. Nick Cannon and his platform, okay. You know, I like Nick Cannon. He has brought Umar on a variety of occasions, okay, to essentially give him a platform to lie, okay, to black people and people all across the world. So let's hit play on this video real quick. And then we're going to continue. Also, we're going to go into a video where they explain how Umar may be an FBI informant, which is what I was saying for years. Okay, I was saying I believe that this man must work with the FBI because of the way that he always is on no matter what he does. Okay, you know, he seems to be a scammer. He's always seems to be on some big platform. But let's hit play for this first, y'all. Let's go.
Description box if you got any questions about anything, okay? Well, what Umar never told his supporters, what thousands of those people have no idea, is this: that for the past 3 years, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have been trying to get Umar to turn in certain documentation so that they could properly register his nonprofit school, the Frederick Douglass blah, 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 and he's failed to comply. They've actually sent him so many notices. Matter of fact, he received his first cease and desist from them in March of 2022. And in that particular cease and desist, they said to him, as of today, effective immediately, we demand that you cease and desist solicitation of any and all donations, gifts. They listed off all these things in the name of this school nonprofit. They even said to him, you can't even do a fundraiser. You must turn in this. They listed off all these things. They also said to him, if we discover that you are soliciting, accepting donations in the name of this school, an investigation will be opened and you'll be subject to fines. They listed off a litany of things. Well, it appears they finally are doing that. They finally have opened up an investigation. You know, all of us understand that when you are collecting money in the...
So just for a quick moment here, just to say this. If you, and I'm trying to make it as quick as possible. I remember some time ago, I was watching this guy's channel. His name is I think it's something like Pocket Watching with JT. Okay, and he was going over Umar's in the schools, like I think tax records or something to that effect. There were some records regarding the school, and he was explaining how Umar did not report a simple form. Okay, and I was saying to myself, like, why would he not report that? And JT was like, look, this is if I'm not mistaken, it was JT the Pocket Watcher, okay, on YouTube, and he was saying, you know, he could have easily reported this, but he didn't. And the reason why he doesn't report a lot of this stuff, see, what she's talking about PA and how they were telling him essentially, you can't keep on saying that you're a nonprofit and that you're registered and everything when you're not, but you're essentially soliciting funds from people. When the school's not registered, we're asking you to fill out simple stuff and you won't do that. And the reason why he doesn't do it is because he doesn't want the school to open. It's as simple as that. He does not desire for the school to open. It's all a scam. It's all a scam, y'all. And I said, I believe that he maybe worked with the FBI. Because I remember the first time I thought that he worked with the FBI was when I started noticing he started coming against Obama a lot. And I was like, what did Obama do then? I know there's guys that didn't like President Obama when he became president. But I was like, the way he was coming at him, I was like, man, that's crazy timing. You know what I mean? It was like, I noticed that a lot of people and I'm not saying Obama is perfect, I'm just saying there's a lot of people that I noticed that they've been doing this in the community, Dr. Umar will always be against them. And I used to think to myself, you know what, if the FBI wanted somebody to attack leaders, he would be the perfect person because he's doing it all the time for free. But let's continue with this first, and we're going to get more into that.
Name of a nonprofit that you actually don't have, that is fraud, is illegal. Which, as they said to him in that first cease and desist, you are opening up yourself to all types of levies if they find out that you're doing that. And I happen to know, without telling you how I know, there are many of the women that he actually took advantage of. They took some of those videos that he uploaded of him sitting in some car soliciting donations in the name of that school. They sent copies of those videos to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I mean, going back to as far as 2021, they did. So they have proof that he has violated everything that they asked him not to do. He did the opposite. He did what they asked him not to do. And so what appears to have happened is this. They escalated the situation after his failure to comply. And so they opened up an investigation, and they saw that he was soliciting donations in one account in the name of that school, transferring that money to his own personal accounts. And so they froze both accounts while this investigation is going on. Now, of course, just like he never told them about the first cease and desist, notice I said the first cease.
Now we're gonna stop right here, okay, for her video. You know, when she says he never told them, she's talking about Umar telling his followers, okay? Because PA, the state that I live in, I live in Philadelphia, where Umar is from, okay? PA, okay, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. PA said, listen, stop that, Umar, like I said earlier. And she's saying that Umar wouldn't stop, and he got a cease and desist. Basically, the state saying it's almost like copyright infringement. They're basically saying, look, like, stop infringing on our state by our state's truth, essentially, by saying that you have something that you don't have. You collect the money or something that essentially by doing this is fraud. Okay, it's like me saying I have a non-profit or whatever LLC and I don't have one, and the PA can see that. Okay. And I'm going online and everywhere asking for money in cash. That's when they can say, look, that's not true. That's a lie. That's fraud. Because what Umar has been doing for many years is fraud. Okay. I'm not saying this, I don't like him. I have nothing against that Umar. I wish everyone would be successful. But what he has been doing is fraud in the highest and most obvious degree, which is another reason why I used to always say I think they just do works with the FBI. Because there's no way you could be doing this stuff for over 10 years. Okay. At least with the school, I think he's got the building in 2019, but he was trying to get money for the building even for years before that. I think he started in 2013 or earlier, okay? Saying he wanted to start a school, and he was collecting money for years. It's 2025 right now, okay? Coming to the end of past the half point of this year we are at this point, okay? 2025. And he's been collecting money for all of these years for this supposed school. All right? And it's been all essentially fraud. Why? You say, well, he wanted to do it. It doesn't matter if he wanted to do it. He did not take the steps to make it happen. He has the building, which actually weighs against him. It makes it has to weigh against him. He got the building. If anything, it makes it seem like he's trying. It doesn't, because he has the building, but he won't do the basic things to set it up. Because the building is nothing more than a piece of the con. Okay, I remember years ago, these guys were trying to con me in Philadelphia somewhere near the L. And they had a stack of money. It was like a roll of money. It was like all this money. And most of it probably was prop money, but the money on the outside wasn't real. And this guy was trying to con me. All right, when I realized he was trying to treat me, I just left him. I said, I see what you're talking about. This is fake. Okay, the guy acted like he needed help with something, and he said he's gonna give me some money. But as I talked to him and saw certain things, I said, okay, I see what's going on. He's trying to trick me. He's trying to con me. And the money that he had in his hand was not more than a piece of the con. That's what that building is. Okay, those abandoned buildings that he has in Wilmington, Delaware, they're only a piece of the con. That's all that they are. They were never meant for people to actually be in those buildings. Okay, this woman says something very telling and very important in this video. She says, you're going to turn around and you're going to hear that Umar has been arrested. Okay, and of course he's like, for example, if you watch this video of him on King Kong Consciousness, going there and see the video where he's saying, my money has been frozen, XYZ, and this and that, I can't touch it. He actually says something important. He's a liar, I gotta say that. But a lot of times I'll say skilled liars, what they do is they'll say pieces of the truth within their lies. So a person trying to figure out the truth can't tell if he's lying or not, or he or she's lying or not, because they have pieces of the truth scattered about. Okay. Now, when Umar said his accounts were frozen, I believe that is true. But he said one thing in there I believe was an absolute lie. If you remember, he said, if you watched the video, he says, brothers and sisters, they basically asked me they told, I think he came out and just said straight up, look, they told me the reason why they were freezing my accounts was not because of any suspicion of fraud on my account, on my end. That's basically what he was saying. I believe that was a lie. Okay, or it's possible that they were trying to. I think they told him that it was because they had suspicion of one, but or if they didn't, it was that they didn't tell him that because they didn't want him to know. Okay, but at the end of the day, even if that was the case, Umar knows what's going on. Okay, he knows what's going on. He knows what he's been doing, and if anyone, a criminal and a scammer, can feel the heat, they can tell. Just like they can sense when they have a sucker in front of them. They can sense when they're about to be the sucker. They can sense when the heat is. When they can sense when it's getting hot out. When it's getting hot around them. And I think Umar can sense that. That's why he's asking y'all to send him money through PayPal, which he can get even via a bank account. He can have, if he has a PayPal card, he can just get the money sent right to him that way, to prepare for what he's about to endure. And I don't feel sorry for him because he's been scamming people for years. Now, let's move into this next video. It's a video that Lennon Honor put up. Okay, I'm trying to make this video short, y'all. And we're going to talk about how he put a video up of someone talking about how they saw Umar with some stuff that made it appear like he actually is working with the FBI. And they were going to pull up some stuff, and we're going to talk about folks that have been supporting him real quick. We're going to be out of here, okay? Like the content, make sure to comment, and please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. It's your boy, Bro Winston. Let's go.
Yeah. But yeah, one thing she said though that really got my attention was that one time he was doing some type of paperwork and had his papers out on her kitchen table, and she thought she saw an FBI folder, and he immediately put it, away as if to see it. And she kind of like, did I see what I just saw? But she never confronted him on that. And so we would talk about that. Like, do you think he an informant? You think he an agent? Or could it be that was researching COINTELPRO, right? And that he was just doing the research on how, they take that.
Nah, he wasn't doing no research. Okay. If he had a folder that said FBI. Now this is this man who's a guest on Lennon Honor's show. Lennon Honor's a guy who's been on Umar Johnson's heels for many years. Because I think Umar Johnson threatened him and his family. And Lennon Honor is making money from talking about Umar online all the time, so you can't blame the guy for making money from somebody who threatened you. Shoot, I can see why he would do that. Okay, but this man to the right is his guest, and he's talking about a woman who I believe dated Umar, if I'm not mistaken, for some time, and he used to come out to her town and see her a lot. Okay, and he was in her house and so on and so forth. You can see his interview on I think one of the clips on Lennon Honor's channel. Okay, that's where I found it, on YouTube. And this man basically saying, like you just see, look, this woman was in the crib one day. She said Umar was in the crib a variety of times in the bath, just chilling. And one time she saw him with the papers, as we just heard, saw him with a bunch of papers out. And I guess that was something that he would do often because he's a speaker, okay, and have his stuff ready. And she saw a file, FBI file, and as the man just said, he grabbed it quickly, like, oh, let me, get that out of here. I don't want you to see that. All right, think about this, people. Just think for a second. You got a guy who's been committing open fraud. Think about it. I want you to really think about this, okay? You have a man who's been committing open fraud, and we know this, all right, with this school scam, amongst other scams, for over a decade. Okay, been collecting money from people for over a decade. All right, he comes online and he's been speaking, and you can research your stuff. You can find it. As I said before, this guy Lennon Honor to the left has a documentary. I forget the name of it, but it's on his channel where he talks about, and he shows Umar Johnson saying that he believes that something like maybe 20% or a number around that of black boys need to be KILLE. The rest. I don't want to say it so people be taken down, but I gotta be careful how I speak on here. But he essentially says that the black boys need to be taken out, okay, by the government. Essentially, this is what Umar says, okay, for them to basically get things right. This is the same man that said he wanted to open up FDMG Academy, Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School for the Gifted Youth, whatever it's called. Okay, he said he wanted to open up a school for black boys. They have to give them black mentors, so on and so forth. But then he also said out of his mouth that he believes that a certain percentage of black boys have to be taken out, okay, permanently. Okay, as Umar said, for good in his own words. If you look on the videos, he says for good, meaning they gonna be gone. You gotta take them out. Okay, he said something to the effect of like, but then there's a certain amount of them they can't be saved. This is literally what he said. He said they can't be saved, and for some of them, he said they're gonna be taken out. They're gonna have to be taken out for good. That's literally what this man said. Okay, so you had a guy who also oftentimes, I'm talking about Umar, of course, speaks against interracial marriage. He speaks against the American government at times. Okay, but he also is in favor of taking out by the government black people. Okay, and when you think about it, you can understand why he's able to be a fraud and be a scammer and be on all these big platforms. And people have for years been saying he's a scammer. Plenty of people who used to follow him have said, listen, he's a scammer. He scammed us. Okay. Even big YouTubers, there's a big YouTuber series, I can't remember the guy's name, it was a big YouTuber that actually said that he gave Umar some money. Okay. Like he gave him some money. It was for something. It was like something that for some reason he gave him some money and he asked for like a refund or something like that. Umar just like said, forget about it, I ain't give you no refund. And then then he actually recorded it. You can see him going to one of Umar's speeches. Okay, Umar was like trying to come at it. First, Umar was trying to act like I guess he didn't know who he was, and then he was just, Umar was just basically like, get away from me. He was just basically like, look, like get out of my face. I mean, I done seen so much stuff. I've seen people that have come online and will testify. I mean, people that have HVAC companies, people that have different companies that say, look, man, we've been trying to help this guy. People have called and said, look, I called Dr. Umar, dealt with the plumbing, helped with this, because Umar all the times come on and say, we need help, brothers and sisters, with the plumbing. Brothers and sisters, we need help with the HVAC. Brothers and sisters, we need help with the electricity, this and that. And then people will actually call him and say he went help for free. One guy, I remember, he said that he had a certain amount of hours that he could donate through his job that they actually allow him to have. Okay, and I think it was something like 3 weeks or so amount of time that he could work he could work to the customer for free. Okay, because his job allowed that. Okay, with this agency, I think he was an electrician or something like that. Okay. And he said he contacted Umar, and if I'm not mistaken, the guy actually had the text and everything, and he was showing how Umar just ignored him. But he was online saying, I need help, I need help, I need help. But behind, closed doors, he was just ignoring it because he doesn't want the school to be made. Okay, it's a fraud. And in that, everything that he's doing, at least regarding raising funds for FDMG Academy, which is not a real thing, it's a lie. It's a fraud. Okay. Now what I want to do right now, y'all, is I want to quickly go over some basically screenshots that I have of videos that Umar has been on. Okay, different major platforms that he's been on to show you how these people are responsible also for the scam. Okay, it's not just Umar. Umar is not just some anomaly. Umar is support. This is another reason why I believe that he's supported by FBI. Okay. Because these big platforms are continually giving Umar a platform. Okay, think about it. When there's someone who there's even suspicion of fraud or a scam, many times they get blacklisted. Like, people don't want to associate with them. Okay, but Umar is like, he's like Teflon Don. He can't be touched, cannot be touched, and you wonder why. So this is a recent interview. This is 6 days ago. Okay, right now I'm making this video at the end of July 2025. Okay. So 6 days ago on Breakbeat Media, okay, he was on this show with this woman, and you see her hugged. Hopefully you can see these pictures also, guys. Sometimes when I do screen record my phone, but for some reason my phone sometimes does not catch certain pictures that I put up. So hopefully you guys will see this. Maybe I'll need to double back to make the catch it. I don't know what's the issue with that, but hopefully you can see his picture. It's a picture of him hooked up with a black woman, all right, with blonde hair, okay. And I saw some in this beginning of the interview. And the woman was like, I was trying to get you on for years and this and that. And she's from North Philly. Okay. And I guess Umar's from North Philly too. And they were having some camaraderie in that. I'm not trying to say that she's intentionally, trying to deceive. All these people are intentionally trying to do that. But they definitely have something to do with people being deceived at the very least, and being bamboozled and hoodwinked, because it's their job to vet their guest. All right. This woman literally said, I was trying to get this guy on for some time. Okay, you didn't hear anything about all the scamming that he's been doing. Look how it says right here. It says Dr. Umar, the polarizing prince of Pan-Africanism. Okay, like, oh well, there are people that just don't like him for some reason, but there are people that do love him. Okay, no, if there's any polarization, it's because he's a scammer and he's been lying to folks Okay, it's not just because he doesn't like interracial marriage and this and that. Okay, it's because he's been lying to people. All right, when Umar first kind of started, I heard about him. Okay, I'm not a Pan African. Okay, none. I'm a Christian. All right, I have nothing to do with none of that kind of stuff. I also have a community group, but outside of that, I'm not, in any kind of Pan African group. All right, I heard about him saying he didn't like the interracial. He thought the interracial dating was bad and this and that. But I also heard about something that he was doing, like he was lying and saying that he was a descendant of Frederick Douglass, and all this other kind of stuff. And then he would try to rationalize that. All right, so I didn't take him too serious. But there were things that he did say that I said, what he's saying is right there. What he's saying is right here. Okay, even to this day, there are things that he says that are correct. Okay, but I would never put a video up promoting him, knowing what a lot of things he was doing was wrong. Okay, so we got her. Let's go to the next picture. Hopefully you can see this here. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go back again. Hopefully you can see this. This is Dr. Umar on the Breakfast Club. Dr. Umar talks, and this is 1 year ago. Okay, talks bunny hopping, which is basically, if you don't know, that's him talking about a black guy going with white woman. Okay, black men interracially dating. Okay, Supreme Court immunity, and so on and so forth. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, we got here 5 years ago, The Breakfast Club, Dr. Umar Johnson on American politics. Okay, so he's on there again. Moving on again, we see here Dr. Umar on The Breakfast Club again. 4 years ago, Dr. Umar Johnson speaks on American racism. So just let him keep coming on. Even though he's around this time, all right, people were hitting Umar up saying, yo, what's going on with this school and so on and so forth. Now, this is 4 years ago. It's 2025. That means it was around 2021. He purchased a school around 2019. And around that time, people were like, what's going on, Umar? Okay, nothing was being done. Okay, let's keep on going. 9 years ago. Okay, so this is before he purchased the school in Wilmington. Dr. Umar Johnson interview at the Breakfast Club. Okay, he up there spreading the stuff that he later spread, which is filth in my opinion. 9 years ago, again on the Breakfast Club. Okay, Breakfast Club again. Okay, 2 years ago. So at this point, 2 years ago should be 2023. At this point, people know that the school is a scam. Breakfast Club got him on there anyway. Dr. Umar Johnson talks Deion Sanders, T.J. Holmes, interracial relationships. Okay, once again, okay, here we go. 4 years ago, back on the Breakfast Club. Okay, Dr. Umar is totally against interracial marriage. It says. Okay, we went to the next one. Dr. Umar breaks silence on Tyler Perry's allegations. This is 1 month ago. This is the art of dialogue. Okay, the art of dialogue. This is a show that I've seen before. I didn't know that they had him on there. Okay, art of dialogue. He's in there looking like an African prince of some kind. All right. Now, has Tyler Perry been involved in some foolish stuff? In my opinion, yes. And it seems like he's, I don't want to say he's guilty, but it seems like he is. Okay, based on the evidence. Okay, Dr. Umar is on here to talk about him, but he's not talking about the scamming that he's been doing himself. Okay, and these people let him come on there. They could have had anybody else come on, but they wanted Dr. Umar to come on. Okay, now this is a big channel. As you see, it has 825,000 views. As of before, Umar has over a million Instagram followers. A lot of these people are famous folks that follow Dr. Umar. Okay, when I checked that yesterday, I saw the people that was following me or I followed, they was following Dr. Umar. Okay, some of them. Okay, this man is obviously a scammer. This is I Never Knew TV. 2 years ago, Dr. Umar Johnson talks opioid crisis, black gay men, and so on and so forth. Okay, another interview that he has. This is I Never Knew. These people are complicit with what he's doing. How are they complicit? Because y'all should have researched the man. All right, you bring people on, you research them. If I asked to get on one of these shows, if I asked to go on the Breakfast Club, you think they would just let me on there? No, they would say, how are you successful? They would look at the things that I put up online, look at my YouTube channel, look at the things that I've said to see if they could be harmed in any way by putting me on if I said something that was detrimental to anyone or to the black community or somehow detrimental to their image. Okay, they would check. They had people to check that before they would let me on. But he can come on and say whatever he wants, and he's always on. Okay, you mean somebody may say, oh well, it's because he's controversial, and when they're controversial, it's like people say any what's the word? Any news, any basically coverage is good coverage of you. Okay, which is not basically anything you can serve you a person that's controversial. Just get him on. Okay, because whether they hate him or love him, it'll bring ratings. Okay, but there's also a thing called integrity. All right, and these people who seem to talk about a lot don't have it when it comes to Umar for some odd reason. Okay, let's keep on going. Okay, it is Roland Martin. Now this is an interview with Roland Martin where Roland Martin, some people don't like Roland Martin. I don't agree with everything Roland Martin has ever done or said, but I will say this, that when he came on here, he did question Umar. And I think Roland Martin actually took it easy on Umar in this interview, which was like, what is this, 8 years ago. Umar came on and he started he get some nonsense. And then I think he started verbally coming at one of the guests. Okay, they asked him something and he started kind of coming at them, though it wasn't in a debate format. And Umar, in my opinion, made himself look bad. And he, a lot. It's funny I remember when that happened. A lot of people in the comments were on Umar's side. They're like, yeah, you know, he making Roland Martin look dumb and this and that. And those people were sending him money. I'm sure they wish they hadn't sent him a dime now, but they were sending him money on Umar's side, and he was just up there just saying all kind of mess. All right, let's continue. As he defended the lie that he pushed about him being a direct descendant of Frederick Douglass, all this kind of stuff, and then say, oh no, I'm a descendant of his kinsman and all this kind of stuff. Anybody can say that. Come on now, let's keep on going. Here we got Joe Budden TV 8 months ago. Okay, you can see this, Joe Budden TV 8 months ago, Patreon exclusive. Okay, so this is for those that you gotta be paying them to see this. Okay, Patreon exclusive. Cite your sources featuring Dr. Umar, part 1. As you can see, Dr. Umar is in the middle with his right hand raised. Okay. Now, does this mean that everybody in this panel is supportive of everything he says? Not necessarily, because they are employed, I'm sure, by Joe Budden or whoever's over this podcast. But at the end of the day, he's on that show, and he's up there, I'm sure, telling a bunch of lies, getting more support, and he got 1.5 million views. This is why Dr. Umar has over 1 million followers on Instagram, because he shows that continually give him a platform. Okay, let's keep on going. Okay, this is when Kevin Samuels was talking about Dr. Umar. Okay, and Kevin Samuels was not in favor of him. Actually, I do appreciate that Kevin Samuels set him straight in that way. I'm not here to promote Kevin Samuels and everything he does. Some things Kevin Samuels said. Some things that Kevin Samuels have said over the years, I agree with for sure. Okay, not everything that he said do I agree with them. Okay, but what he said about Umar was definitely right. When I think Umar had come at him or something like that, and Kevin Samuels was like, "Look, this is the same guy that has been pushing this scam school and this and that. If I'm not mistaken, that's what he said." And he was just like, "Look, don't take this man seriously. Don't take nothing that he said seriously." Okay, let's keep on moving. Dr. Umar, Breakfast Club once again 2 years ago. Okay, response to Ebony K. Okay, let's keep on moving. Now we got Nick Cannon. Okay. All of these videos, all of this is just coverage for Umar. It's just free commercials for Umar. Okay, and he's sitting up here in like this African type of garb on. Okay, looking like he's some type of wise teacher, and he's up here, like I said before. And when he comes on these shows, he doesn't say this. Okay, he doesn't say that black boys need to be taken out, as I said that he said before, but he says it in select circles, and he said it, and it's online. You can hear him saying this stuff. That's what's in his heart. He's not come out and apologized and said, I wish I had not said all these evil things that I said. No, he continues to push his stuff. All right. And it's all a scam. All right. So this is Nick Cannon show. Another show with Nick Cannon. This is 7 months ago. Okay. Love and Legacy featuring Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay. He looking happy as he's scamming people to get their money. All right. Race over religion. Okay. That's another thing Umar does. Okay. Which I think is even more telling when it comes to him trying to destroy the community. Okay, he speaks about essentially that we need to worship the ancestors and all of that kind of stuff, which in my opinion is a bunch of trash and it's not true. Your ancestors are not willing to be worshipped by you. Okay, but he talks about that, but then he comes against the church. All right, comes against God often. Sometimes he'll say things that are seemingly a pro-Christian or whatever, or pro whatever religion you want to grab onto at times. Okay, he knows how to, like a snake, kind of weave in and out, but then also like a snake, he has a double tongue. He has a split tongue, and he's speaking one way for God and one way against God. Race over religion. Okay, and not just by that time, I've literally heard Umar talk about things about God against Christians, against God on many occasions. Okay, saying they're dumb and all this kind of stuff, while he's openly scamming people. All right, to lead people away from God, which is what, of course, people that want to bring down the black community will want. Okay, to bring us into a place where we're more self-centered and more inclined to have no love in our hearts. All right, because love comes from God, so we will be left empty and more inclined to hate each other. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Black Queens Forever with Dr. Umar. Okay, Black Queens Forever, Snow Bunnies Never with Dr. Umar. Okay, we playing spades here, and we see here, if I'm not mistaken, that's Nick Cannon. Unless it looks like him, I could be mistaken, but it looks like that's Nick Cannon to the left. Okay, Wrong, forgive me. Let's keep on going. Again, Nick Cannon, interracial dating, okay, featuring Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay, saving our sons. Yeah, I think it's unbelievably ironic that it's called saving our sons when Dr. Umar literally said that we need to take the sons out. And it says you're saving our sons. Okay, he's sitting there smiling. All right, grab another black man's hand. All right, I don't want this video to be too long, but I gotta say this. It's Dr. Umar, you know, and I wish nothing bad on the man, but he's not doing this alone. All right. More and more every day, I believe that this man truly is a government plan. I really do. I really, really do. The perfect government plan. You may say, well, how so? People think they know this stuff. No, they don't. A lot of them don't. A lot of people to this very day do not understand that Dr. Umar has been scamming. A lot of people don't understand that he even has a school, but they do watch him on Instagram. And on Instagram, on his channel, all he does is say stuff that's pro Dr. Umar. So if you watch just that, you would never know. You would never know. Because he really has a cult following. Just like Donald Trump has a cult following, that no matter what he does, they will be following him. Okay, there are people that love Donald Trump so much, even though it's come out revealing that he's been basically all over the Epstein files and he's been with Epstein so much, and he truly is just like Epstein and all kind of stuff. A lot of his followers, you know, they cannot conceive that to be true. Okay, and they just, oh, let God forgive him and all this and that. Okay, of course God forgives. Okay, but is Donald Trump trying to, you know, say that, is he trying to tell the truth here? Absolutely not. He's trying to hide it. That's what he's trying to do. Okay, and it's nasty, and it's wicked, and he should not be the president. Dr. Umar, like Donald Trump, should not be in front of people in a public manner at all because of the things that he's been doing. All right, he can speak English to a certain degree, on a higher level than many people in the ghetto, but that doesn't mean that he needs to be going around scamming people. Okay, I'm gonna say this real quick before we get out of there. I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, I'm gonna say this, get out of there. Some years ago, I had a business where I was selling different things online. Okay, and one thing that I learned, which I never knew in my life, okay, until I started doing this business, was that I would sell things on different platforms, online platforms, okay, and I would make money. All right, I was making money sometimes real quick. This is easy money, selling stuff, delivering, and so on and so forth. Okay, I had stuff stored across the city. Okay, and I would go get stuff, and I would get an order and bring people in, so on and so forth. Okay, one thing that I realized is that a lot of people, they don't read, and a lot of people make terrible decisions when it comes to using their money. I knew that people make foolish decisions with money for years, but doing this business, it really taught me how that really is. How there are more people in this world. Okay, I want you guys to understand this. There are more people in this world that are dumb than are smart. There really are. I mean, it's probably like 70% of people in the world do things in a dumb way compared to 30% or maybe even 20% that operate in a more intelligent manner. Okay, especially when it comes to their money. Okay. I mean, it's been so many times where I was maybe selling a couch that is sectional, and I put the dimensions of the sectional and all that information on. I to the point where I actually put at the top of my descriptions, make sure you read this entire description, okay? And time after time, I would bring these people, and they would say, "Oh, I didn't know this, I know that." And I would say, "Did you read the description?" I'd actually text people when I was, or message them when I was many times about to deliver stuff. Did you read the description? Because so many times people, when they read stuff, and then they would get certain things, they'll be surprised. And I'll be like, it's in the description. It's in the description. Why are you not reading this? Why are you not reading this? Okay. And I realize how people are so foolish when it comes to their money. I mean, I've seen people more than once sometimes get things they may necessarily didn't want, but they say, "Oh, it's all right, I'll take it anyway." I was just like, I just can't understand why y'all can't read the easiest. Just read something small. You're putting money out. Read. And Umar understanding this has got a lot of people because of that. Okay, so until next time, if you like this content, y'all leave a comment. Okay, because this is work that it does take time for me to make these videos. Okay, you know I'm doing this one just on my phone. Okay, leave a comment, y'all. Let me know how y'all feel about this. If you want me to talk about something else, let me know. Okay, in the comments, hit the like button. All right, and let's keep this conversation going. Hopefully, Umar will be taken off of the public scene for some time until he comes back. And if he comes back, I should say, come back doing the right thing. Okay? God bless you guys. Peace.